have so much to say about this episode of Severance, and y'all know I'm very long-winded. I'm going to try to say it as quickly as possible. This video might go 10 minutes. I don't care if y'all watch the full 10 minutes. Somebody will. Somebody is going to watch the full 10 minutes of this video if it goes that long, and that's who I'm talking to. Okay? So, oh my God, so much happened. I'm calling this episode the race episode. And the reason why I'm calling it the race episode is because it is fascinating to me that in this episode of Severance, we saw all of these Black characters that we have not seen in forever. We saw Natalie, we haven't seen her in forever. We saw Miss Felicia, we haven't seen her in forever. We saw Asal, we haven't seen her in forever. Then we also found in the land of where the goats are, the mammalian sanctuary, or whatever the second word was, there are 2 Black employees that work there. So we discovered 2 new Black employees. So I have already put out in other videos my theory about how Dan Erickson and Ben Stiller had to have studied like plantation life and plantation living, because Lumen very much feels like a plantation and the innies are the enslaved. So it's so interesting to me that all of a sudden we get this race episode. So Milchick gets presented with a gift from the board of these paintings of Kier, but they're fashioned to reflect the fact that Milchick is Black. So in these paintings, Kier's skin tone is changed. But if you go back and watch it, because I tried to find images of the change photos, I can only find the original photos. If you go back and look at it, the features are not changed and nothing else is changed. Just the representation of Kier. So I'm going to post some of them here and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, so this is the first photo that we see. Imagine, this is Kier, but imagine he was Black. So the nose didn't change. I just went back and looked at it. Nose didn't change. Excuse me, hold on one second. Okay, I just want to check. Hair doesn't become coarse. Just change of the skin tone. Okay, we're going to do the next one. Oh, wait, before I go to the next one, what I think for me, because we see things as we are, right? What this made me think of is, I've been in large law firms before. And when you look at, like the founding partners on the wall, it's a bunch of old white men like this. There's never a Black man there. Definitely there's never a Black woman there. And so changing these paintings to make Kier Black, especially given that Kier is viewed as a deity to these people. And they talk about Kier's teachings and all these different things. To make that person Black is actually incredibly profound. To say, we're willing to say that you are like Kier, that you are worthy of being revered and you deserve the position that you have. That's the statement that this is attempting to make, whether Seth receives it or not. That's the statement that they're trying to make. And also, this episode coming out when all these companies are rolling back DEI is also so profound to me as well, because that's what I was thinking about when I'm watching this. All these companies are rolling back DEI and Lumen is saying, we want you to feel that you're one of us. Brilliant. Okay, so this painting is called The Convalescence of Young Kier, I think is what it's called. So that's Kier in the bed. Imagine he's black. So what was interesting about when they showed this one is that, so you see you see somebody praying, everybody that's a caretaker of young Kier is white. In the painting that they gave Seth, they were all still white. Now, we all know, as a young boy, if Seth had gotten sick, the people taking care of him would not have been white. They would have been black. So that, it's just so interesting and so profound and just so stark. And it's just such a great tool to use in the episode. So this painting, I believe, is called Kier Invites You to Drink of His Water. So again, he was changed to be black. So it's like he's looking out over his kingdom. And so it's like Lumen is saying, you deserve ownership of land. You deserve to have a kingdom. You deserve to stand on a mountaintop and survey everything that's yours, which is a profound statement. And so then Natalie says, oh, I received, a similar gift when I got my position. So I actually would have loved to see some of those paintings because they made Kier into a black woman. I think that would have been even more profound. So, one more thing about Natalie. Let me put Natalie up. So one more thing about Miss Natalie is, so she is the voice of the board, right? So towards the end of the episode, when Helena is talking to Miss Cobell, and she's saying, well, I can call the board if you like. When she calls Natalie, and she says to Natalie, is the board available for Ms. Cobell and I? When she said the board, in her voice, you could hear the air quotes, right? So it's like, I thought to myself, and I actually had this thought before, does the board even exist? What if Natalie is the board? What if Natalie is actually the CEO of Lumen? And you would never think that because she's a black woman. And when she comes and she speaks for the board, she's actually checking in to see what the fuck is going on at this company. What about that? Then there's also this theory out there that the board, they're not human beings. Like they're aliens or whatever, some sort of being. And so she interprets what they say. She doesn't repeat what they say, which that could be true. But just something about the way that Helena said the board makes me feel like they don't really exist. So that's my theory about that. I'm almost running out of time. So I want to speak about something very important. Okay, just very quickly. It was amazing to see Gwendolyn Christie. I was wondering how long it was going to take her to show up. So it was amazing to see her, just quickly. I'm actually going to use this picture because I'm going to highlight Asal because I love her. So Asal tells Mark, last time I saw Gemma, she was alive. And she was like, listen, I'm better at reintegration now. Basically something could still go wrong, but I'm better at it if you want to do it. And Mark immediately says yes, because he's like, I want to see my wife. And I talked about, my understanding of grief and my relationship with grief in my last video. I would do anything. To see my grandmother, even just for 5 minutes. And with Mark seeing what happened with Petey, he knows very well to reintegrate, he could die. And he's still willing to do it because it would be worth it to him to see his wife. And for me, if I had to die to see my grandmother again, but I would get to see her for hours, weeks, whatever, I probably would do it. And so that moment really resonated with me. And then I didn't realize it was actually going to be so easy for her to reintegrate him. I literally thought she was going to have to cut his head open to do it. So I was shocked by the method that they used to reintegrate. So it looks like Mark is reintegrated now. So now we've got 2 spies, because Helly is actually Helena, on the Severance floor. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that turns out. That's all I have time for. Let me know what you think. Lastly, Dylan's kids are adorable, and how interesting that he married a white cop. Again, race.